Okay, it's live. All right, so let's go ahead and start our separate tracks.
All
We'll
right.
go 1, 2, 3, go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Hello, welcome to Nintendo Nostalgia, episode 131. I'm your host, Jacob Rush, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Black, and Chris White, and we are back, and we are playing with power. Guys, it is probably my most favorite time of the year when it comes to Nintendo hype and just excitement about video games. E3 is a week from today. We're recording on a Tuesday, so this time next week, we'll know if all of our predictions for today's episode are crushed or if they're pretty accurate or if some was accurate, some was off. We'll figure it out in a week from now. But I am just thrilled to do this. I love this episode every year to do it. It's my favorite episode to do, honestly. It's really exciting. So let's I don't want to waste much time getting into it. But Chris, welcome back. Glad to have you here again for another E3 predictions episode. It's going to be a good time, right, man?
I mean, I'm excited. This is video game Christmas right here, and it's this is the time where all eyes are on what we love, and this is the chance that these companies have to come out and show you, not only what their holiday looks like, but why you should care that you are part of their ecosystem, part of their platform. And so this is where you get reminded why these companies and why these systems are great. So it's just exciting.
Ryan, what do you think about what you hyped? You hyped right now, man?
I'm very hyped. It's a week away, man.
Oh my gosh, a week away. We just all day long we've just been chit-chatting about it back and forth, just speculation and excitement. So, but we had our NOS crew guys who chime in, who help us with the show behind the scenes, that they don't really make an appearance on the show all the time or publicly, but we had them send in some messages, and we have we had one shoot some text messages, so I figured we could start off with that person. And that first one is Jesse Armstrong. Jesse Armstrong, he was not able to call in today. He has been very, very busy, man. His house was actually hit by a tornado a few weeks ago that went through the area, and Jesse's got like 4 little kids, and 3 of them are like under the age of 5. So it's like kind of a chaotic time. I mean, they're getting things together and along, and he's just been busy, like cleaning stuff up in the yards, trees, and everything during the day, and then at night he goes to work. So he's just been a busy guy. He didn't have time to call today, but he will be at our E3 party next Tuesday, so I'm excited about that. He's bringing nachos, so we better be there. So, I mean, we need the nachos, you know what I'm saying? So, but first up, Jesse just said he just really hopes that we get a Prime trilogy for Switch, and then he thinks. Because of, we'll get into this later, but Xbox rumors and everything going around, he thinks we're actually going to get a port of Sea of Thieves to Switch as well. So that's part of his predictions. And then he thinks that as they're going to show a new peripheral or a new version of the Switch, which we know is not true because they already said that was not going to happen. Maybe they'll surprise us. Who knows? I mean, that's what this whole episode's about, the element of surprise, the unexpected. So those are Jesse's a couple of predictions he had there. So then Traven gave us a phone call. So it's not a very long message. It's only 19 seconds. Let's go ahead and listen to that real fast. What did Traven have to say? It'll play. It's not playing. Dang, it's not playing.
Oh, good. It's going to be added in anyway, so.
I know. What the heck? Why is this doing so?
Can I take a stab at it? It was like this. Hey, my name's Traven. I don't like good games. That's why I've never played Fire Emblem or Advance Wars. Please don't ever have me on your show again. I think it was. I think it was probably pretty close, right?
Might be.
I don't know. I'd have had something in there about fishing.
He wanted a new fishing game. Let's see here. Why is this thing being silly?
He's going to get a new fishing game. It's called Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. We've done this before on the show. Hold on here. I think I got it.
This episode is just going to be like 45 minutes of Jacob trying to play a phone call.
That's why I don't like things being live. Because
Technical difficulties. Yeah.
yes.
Hey, listen. To be fair, I mean, Nintendo still can't figure out a way to let you play Mario Maker with your friends online. So, I mean, if they can't figure it out, we don't blame you too much for not.
I don't think it was them not figuring it out. I think they deliberately left it out, which is even worse.
No,
I mean, it's just the same as they deliberately make you use your phone to chat with your friends.
It's the worst.
Business decisions that it's their flavor, I guess.
It's something like that.
But tomorrow is a big day for you.
Tomorrow, yeah,
for me,
yeah, and it's because I was trying to do, I'm repping,
Yes,
I was
trying,
I was trying to do my list, and yeah, with the Pokemon Direct coming out tomorrow, I was like, well, I'm probably going to say something tonight that's either going to be confirmed or debunked by the time we hit. By the time this airs, because I feel like it'll probably drop in the Direct, but we'll see.
So let's do. I'm gonna do a little pre. It's not E3. It's a pre Pokemon Direct prediction here.
Oh, I like it. Let's hear it.
I think there's gonna be like a Manticore Pokemon or a Leprechaun Pokemon, just because it's it's close enough to the aisles there.
For now, all I want is a Leprechaun Pokemon. Like, that's fantastic. That's what I want. I love it. He has like a pot of gold and he like sprays like gold blast out of it. It's perfect.
Definitely fairy.
Yes.
All right, guys. I think I got it. I think I got it.
Maybe the Pokemon is just a pot of gold. Like, that's the Pokemon.
All right. Let's see if this works.
Mm-hmm.
It was just working. You heard it.
We heard it.
Hey, this is Traven Jonas, giving my predictions for E3. So my predictions is that they're mostly going to talk about nothing but Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem, and then they're going to wait to the very last second to reveal a Super Smash Bros. Character.
Oh my gosh! Thanks, Traven. That absolutely what I don't want is Fire Emblem.
I don't know. Sounds legit to me.
Watch yourself now.
And then they'll announce a Fire Emblem character for Smash at the end. You want to make me cry? That would be like the worst E3 possible for me.
That'd be amazing. Like, the first 30 minutes were Fire Emblem, the last 30 minutes were Animal Crossing, and then the last 2 minutes we're bringing 5 more Fire Emblem characters to Smash.
That would be terrible.
The Fire Emblem player pack. Calling it now.
They could make their own separate DLC pack just for Fire Emblem characters.
Right.
They're going to match every non-Fire Emblem character with the Fire Emblem character.
That's right.
Right.
Or they actually just announced a brand new edition called Super Smash Brothers Deluxe Fire Emblem, and it's literally just 70 Fire Emblem characters. That's it. It's just Smash Brothers just with Fire Emblem characters.
And it's all them with swords, just swords. They don't have anything else. Well, we have one more phone call. And this one is from Mr. Kyle Martin, our artist, the guy who does all the art you see every week that goes up on your phones. It's from Kyle. So let's give it a shot, see what Mr. Kyle had to say.
Hey, it's Kyle Martin, and I wanted to give my E3 predictions. All right, just going to roll these out off the top of my head. I think we're getting a new IP from Nintendo, a Mario & Rabbids 2, a new Kirby game, new Wario Land for its 25th anniversary, since it came out. First one came out in 1994. I think we'll get something like a new Punch-Out or a series we haven't seen in a long time, because from the first year of the Switch, and it's super successful, kind of like how the Wii started doing games we hadn't seen in a while, like Punch-Out, and they did Wario Land, Shake It, and so I think they're going to do something along the lines of that, give us some games we haven't seen in a long time. I think there's a good chance we'll see some Kong game, whether it's a new Donkey Kong or Mario versus Donkey Kong. I think we'll get another Mario Sports title, and I think we'll get Xenoblade Chronicles. And as a bonus game, I hope we get some kind of remaster of a classic Nintendo game. Like, I don't know. I don't think it'd be Super Mario Galaxy because we've already got 2 Mario games this year, and I don't see them announcing another Mario game outside of a sports title. So, yeah, I don't know what it'd be, but I hope we get a remaster of some sort. Okay, bye.
Wow. So Kyle, like, he like just threw the whole the gauntlet there at us. I mean, we got Kirby, we got a remasters of old games, we have a new Donkey Kong game. I think, was he just saying stuff to like make everyone happy? That's what
I'm just wondering if he's never actually watched a Nintendo press conference before, because there's no way. I love Kyle, but there is no way we get even half of that list. But it would be nice. It would be nice.
Awesome. Yeah. That was that. I mean, that honestly, if this was like 2004, I could see that happening. You go back and look at those old E3s when they were live on stage, like they used to like bring out game after game after game like that. Whereas now it's, you know, more laser focused on like 5 to 7 games and a handful of them like this year, you already know it's coming out, you know? So
yeah,
interesting. Well, thanks Jesse, Traven, and Kyle for chiming in. We do appreciate you guys. We love you, have you on the show and all that you do to help us out. And we will have you obviously on for the actual episode when we are talking about what just happened, you know, and we'll all and chime in there. So, but guys, we are here to talk about our predictions. Ryan, Chris, and I to lead the front here of what we think is going to happen. We have a couple categories that we are doing this. But first off, we just want to go a little roundhouse. We want to state what we believe is kind of the obvious. You know, a lot of shows have already done their E3 episodes, and you've probably heard them say this. And Nintendo's already pointed at like, expect some of this and some of that. So, I don't know, Ryan, why don't we start off with you? What are we expecting from Nintendo? What's the obvious stuff in your mind that you think we will, as a no-brainer, is going to be there?
Honestly, I'm a bit hesitant to give any answers to this because any of these, like, let's say Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, any of those could be brought out in a direct, like, in a full in-depth instead of just something that shows up in an E3 press conference. And we may see stuff that's all just stuff down the road, but I don't know. I hope to see Animal Crossing there. I'll be kind of upset since they, you know, kind of hyped it and everything for like it's coming this year. It's not having seen anything. Like, it might cause some panic not having these games in there. So that would be a point where they would bring it to it. But there's some things out there that just, it's like, why wouldn't they? Like Fire Emblem, they've shown it off several times now. So we don't necessarily need more information on that. Unless they do a direct before it comes out, which that's soon, isn't it? Next month?
It's July. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we'll probably see a dedicated direct coming out for that, I'd imagine. So I don't see E3 doing that. You know, they're putting that in the E3 presentation, but they could also do that. Like, I can't predict what Nintendo is going to do this year. It's so like nebulous, especially with rumblings of Xbox and things like that, like collaborations. Like, we've already got one game. Just one game, and all these other speculations have come from that. But they say friends at Xbox, so there's some kind of partnership going on there, and we may see other games.
Sure.
So I think it's obvious would be there's some other game, Microsoft Nintendo collaboration that's going to show up.
Interesting. All right, Chris, what about you? What's some of the obvious stuff that you think is going to be at E3 that most people should already know about?
So I think they're going to spend a little bit of time kind of prepping everybody for Mario Maker 2 and Fire Emblem, which will be out, very soon after the conference. I think that we will get one more art style revealed. This is not my predictions, but I think that they made it very blatant when they showed the Super Mario Brother 3, Super Mario 3D World, that it looked like there was enough space for one more little icon. I think we're going to get at least one more art style, and it would be the best time to do it would be at E3. So I think that, just in preparation for that, hey, there's one more art style. I actually think it may be like Yoshi's Story art style, and then I think that they will give us something in Fire Emblem. I think that there's at least one maybe mode or feature that they haven't talked about that they will reveal kind of just to promote, hey, this is coming and this is the one last cool thing. I think it may have something to do with online, which they haven't really talked about a lot. And there's 3 houses, and so there's definitely a possibility of something like that. But I think that the obvious thing here is that we're looking at Animal Crossing. They don't really have a big fall game. I mean, Sword and Shield is obviously going to be a huge game in the fall, sure. But that's a Pokemon Company game. So Nintendo always has another release, like a first party release for the holiday season, and and it's not going to be Luigi. It's not going to be Link's Awakening. Those are great games. We're going to hear more about them, but those are not system selling games. So Animal Crossing is the game, and so I think that they will spend the bulk of their time outlining what exactly Animal Crossing is.
Okay. All right. Myself, I think I'm in the camp of, I don't think we're going to get a large amount of time dedicated to one specific game. My reasoning behind that is because I feel like in the past, at least the past few years, Nintendo has highlighted when they're bringing, like, we're talking about, like last year, for example, they said we're talking about a direct, and then at the first part of different games coming out this year, and then the back half is going to be dedicated to Smash. They did it with Mario Odyssey before that, and the year before that, they just had Breath of the Wild, and they blatantly told you this is all we're talking about. So I actually think we're going to get, I think each game is going, I think it's going to feel a little bit old school. And we're going to get a good amount of time of trailers and focus sent on multiple games. I don't think it's just going to be one or two big key games here. Yeah, I think we're going to hear about Animal Crossing. I don't think they're going to go in depth, though. I think we get a trailer, and I think we get a release date. I think we get Luigi's Mansion. I think we get a release date, and I do think that's going to come out in August. That's my prediction with that one. I think that will come out in August. Okay. I think what are some other games that we know are coming but don't have release dates yet?
So I kind of planned out the rest of the year if you know what I think. So we have Mario Maker 2 in June. We have Fire Emblem in July. Astral Chain is going to be in August.
Astral Chain
is going to be in August. So then I actually have Link's Awakening coming out in September. Yep. I have Luigi's Mansion in October, Pokemon in November, and then Animal Crossing in December, and that Smash slot.
There you go. Okay.
And that's pretty much all the first party stuff that they've confirmed up to now.
Yeah. So basically, the majority of that list, I think we see a little bit of all. I think we see a little bit more of like Link's Awakening. Like, I just think we're going to get more insight to that stuff. That's the basic stuff. Now, however, I believe that, and I think Nintendo's been known to do this every year. When they say they're going to do something, they always end up showing a couple things that were off the radar and that comes in. I think we will get sprinkles in of things we did not expect, games we had no clue were being worked on, and that's where the next section comes in, and that's the funnest part, I think, of the show, of where we just get to throw our ideas out there. I have no insider information whatsoever about anything. Everything is a gut feeling. What I'm hoping, what I'm thinking, and we'll go off of that.
So before we touch on that, I did have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
How do you think they're going to deliver this direct? Are we going to see just like standard direct? Are we going to see like puppets? Are we going to see claymation? Like, this is Doug Bowser we're talking about. We don't know what his flavor of presentation, what he's pushing for America. So what do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's just going to be formulaic?
Well,
or just presentation like?
I don't know if you saw the rumor that actually came out today that there's a rumor right now that the show is going to be about 45 minutes, which will
Saw
make
that.
which will make it probably the longest show they've had in the longest direct they've had in quite a while. But to answer the question, I don't think we're going to see any kind of crazy antics. I do agree with Bowser coming in, but again, I know there's a shakeup there, but Bowser hasn't been here that long. And
Right.
you got to think like E3 stuff. I mean, again, I follow Xbox a lot closer than I do probably anything else. But you listen to Phil and Major Nelson, and they talk about how they're having E3 conference meetings like as soon as July for the next year. Like they go ahead and just kind of start. They decompress what broke down and go ahead and start making plans for what's going to be next year. And so I don't know that we're going to see Bowser's influence too much on this. I think that a lot of it's going to be kind of but I do agree. I do agree that I think it probably will feel a little bit different, but the way I envisioned it is the way we normally see it. So a guy standing on a green screen, talking about what's happening. They'll kind of throw probably to a couple of developers and, hey, he's going to tell you about this new game, and they'll throw it over to a developer. They'll talk about the game, show a demo, come back to like the main host. So that's kind of the way that I see it. That's the way they've done it the last few years, and so I don't really see them straying too much from that formula.
Do you think they're going to highlight their sweet spot right now with Switch is big on indies? Do you think there's going to be any representation, Jacob?
No, I don't think so. I don't. Maybe a slight sizzle reel, I could see that, but it would be fast, and I don't think they're not gonna spend precious like a couple minutes on one specific indie game or anything like that. Not at all.
Yeah, I also agree with that. They really made a name for themselves doing the Nindies directs, and so I think that's really where that's gonna. I think if anything, we'll see now they may highlight like maybe if there's one specific game, and we'll get into this in a little while. But like if there's maybe like one specific game, like for instance, and again this is already out, but like in a year that you have a game like SteamWorld Dig 2 coming out, and it's going to be giant, like you may see maybe an extended trailer for like that title, but outside of maybe just like a little bit of a longer trailer, I don't think they're going to spend really any time.
I agree with that. I do think it's interesting, that this is Doug Bowser's first E3 leading at the helm, and I do think he does finally pop his face out to the public, as the president, and maybe that's the start of the events. Something that like Reggie hasn't necessarily been in the spotlight leading the directs in quite a while, but at E3 he would have a little statement and say a little something there, and then that would be it. And I think we'll see something like that.
I hope he does. I think that he should. I think that Nintendo fans,
I agree,
they don't really know him much, and he hasn't made any sort of appearance. So this is the time to do it.
I would agree. This is your chance. And it could be slight, or they could just go all out and really play into the fact that his name is Bowser, and it's this whole like,
oh my gosh,
Bowser, King Bowser, like it's all set up, and King Bowser's hosting, and then he comes out. You know what I mean? They could go that in too, which I would be all for. That'd be awesome. But
and just to come back to to Ryan's original question, we really don't have any idea, Ryan.
Sure.
Nobody knew that the Star Fox, they were going to do puppets when they announced Star Fox Zero. It's like. It's cuckoo land sometimes, and then you think back to the Wii Music days whenever they come out with a crazy air drummer. It's just you just never know what you're going to get with these guys. So that's, to be honest with you, I'm a huge Xbox fan. I am super pumped for Microsoft's press conference, but I absolutely know exactly how that's gonna go. Phil's going to come out, he's going to say his piece, and then they're going to roll out developer after developer after developer, announcement after announcement. He's going to come in, he's going to say bye. I don't freaking know when Nintendo could do a whole animated movie for all I know. You have no idea what they're going to do, and that's almost the excitement, with Nintendo, is you just never know what they're going to do.
You're absolutely right. There's a charm that they like to put with what they do. So that's again part of the excitement of E3. How is it going to roll out? So well, great guys. Let's go ahead and let's start breaking up into our predictions. We're just going to bring about 3 predictions here that we think is going to happen, and stuff that we think is pretty realistic, not reaching too far. So, and Chris, why don't we start with you, man? You're back to the show here. Let's hear from you. What do you think? What's your first item you want to bring to the table?
All right, so these are what we think are likely to happen.
Yeah.
While still being a little bit of a risk, right?
Correct.
So I do think we're going to see more of a collaboration with Microsoft. We saw Minecraft obviously come over with the Super Mario skins, and that was even before Switch, but we had that. And then you saw, Cuphead, which was a huge win for both Microsoft, or I really like the studio behind it, so MDR, and then
Sure.
Of course for Nintendo and for their fans. So I think that we're going to see that. I know that you want me to talk about Banjo. I'm telling you, Banjo is not going to be in this press conference at all. Here's what I think. I think that Microsoft is going to go on Sunday, and I think that they're going to reveal the new Battletoads game. And then I think that we are going to find out at the Nintendo's press conference that Battletoads is coming day and date on the Switch. With Xbox Live support, cross-play with Xbox Live, because I anticipate it to be a 4-player, side-scrolling beat 'em up, so it would be online, fully with Xbox Live achievements. So that's the game that I think that they will lead with. I do think we're going to get Ori and the Blind Forest on Switch, but I don't think that that's the announcement. I think the announcement is going to be something new, and for the fact that and for Microsoft to launch a first-party game, even if it's maybe like B tier, but to launch a first-party game day and date on another console will be the first time that's really ever happened. And so I think that it will be a pretty big deal. So there you go. Battletoads is coming to Switch.
Hey, yeah, I'm not against that one bit. That would be fantastic. Battletoads, and just like Banjo and stuff. I mean, it's a rare property, and they were born on the They were born on the original Nintendo, and then spilled over to the Super Nintendo. Before Rare started working on other stuff like Donkey Kong Country, that was their baby. Battletoads was their baby, and it was a part of Nintendo's history. I like that. I like that. Ryan, what do you think about that?
I think it's possible. Now, has there been rumors circulating about Battletoads? Or I saw something a while ago about Conquer getting a revival or something. So, it could be a number of titles. And you didn't want to touch on Banjo, which I understand. I mean, who would think a Perfect Dark would be coming? But or what's that one that came out launch with the Xbox 360, the Cameo?
Oh yeah, Cameo. Yeah.
You never see that coming too, or Viva Pinata.
Dude. I would kill for another Viva Pinata on the Switch. Would be amazing. But no. I mean, but coming back. So Microsoft already announced it. We know Battletoads is coming. We know it's not rare.
Okay.
We know that they farmed it out, and we know it's not going to be. From what we've heard, it's not like a AAA game. So I'm expecting something, more on the indie front, more on 2D side scrolling, beat up Castle Crashers kind of game. And again, I think right now we're just seeing that relationship between Nintendo and Microsoft kind of bud, and I think that I love Sea of Thieves, one of my favorite games, literally of this generation. But I do not see that coming to Switch, even though I would love for that to happen, or at least not now. I think that we're looking at smaller things that are done that we'll see kind of show up, and that's why I think we will eventually get Ori, and then. But I think Battletoads is officially going to get its reveal Sunday at Xbox's show, and then of course at Nintendo's press conference. I think that they will show it again, and I would go as far as to say I think Nintendo will have something special in it, just like with Minecraft had Nintendo skins and things like that. Maybe a special level or something for the Switch owners. But yeah, so there you go. There's number one.
Battletoads. All right. Ryan, what about you? What's your first prediction here?
I think the big drop, surprise drop is going to be Apex Legends.
Okay. Yeah.
They already have a mobile version that's coming. They've got their, in the past they've had Fortnite, they've had Rocket League, things like that. They got people pretty hyped, and it was just, crossplay. We're going to see that. And I think Apex is definitely something that can happen. That's kind of my first prediction. I think it's pretty safe to say that. In some form, we're going to get Apex.
Okay.
I would agree that was also on my list. Exactly what you said. Fortnite coming was huge. Realm Royale, like these battle royale games are coming, and they're finding a great home on Switch. There's no reason for Apex not to be there. I think it's a given.
I don't even know what the game is. I mean, I've heard everyone talk about it, but
it's Titanfall without robots. It's Fortnite Titanfall without robots.
Okay. So yeah. I could see that. That's a pretty safe pick there, Ryan. I like that. For the record, I don't think any of my picks are safe. They could all be completely wrong. But
that's the way we like them, Jacob.
Yeah. So my first prediction. Well, let me tell you guys, I have this crazy theory about this little monkey who likes to race called Diddy Kong Race. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a Diddy Kong Racing prediction again, although I still believe it could happen. That's not what I'm bringing to the table today. My first prediction is I believe since Metroid Prime 4 has been held back, I believe we will get some Metroid this E3. And I think we are going to get not the Prime Trilogy. I think the Prime Trilogy is going to be held off until once we get closer to that Prime 4 release date. I think that's when they start to release that to get people in the mood for Prime. However, I think we need Metroid now, and I think we're actually going to get a new 2D Metroid game.
Ooh.
The end of Metroid Samus Returns, people talk about getting that ported from 3DS to the Switch. I don't think Nintendo doesn't do the obvious thing that they should do. And yeah, we would love to see an easy port brought over. But I really think they teased a sequel at the end of spoilers at Samus Returns, what can happen after all of that to an area we've never been. And I think we're going to get that. I think it's time for a 2D Metroid. It was already a while back. I mean, I can't remember, but I remember reading like quotes and stuff from the creators about, what they envisioned about moving forward with the franchise, and that, like they had ideas to do it. So I think we do that. I think we are getting a Metroid game that we did not expect to get announced this year and come out later this year. Maybe in the fall again, like Samus Returns. So it's been about 2 years. A 2D side scroller game, I don't think needs to take 3 to 4 years to make. So, that's my first prediction.
Especially when they have all the assets and everything created.
Yeah.
Right.
So first off, I flipping love that prediction. So I skipped Samus Returns because as soon as the Switch was announced, my 3DS went in the river. Which is really a shame because I barely play the Switch now because it's not portable, but that's a different story. But I skipped it, so I would actually absolutely play it. What I would like to see, and I don't think that this would happen at all, but just piggybacking off of your prediction, I would love to see almost like a trilogy, right? So Samus Returns is the second game, right? So what if they brought Fusion? Fusion was the remake of the first, right?
Zero Mission.
That's right, Zero Mission. So what if they brought Zero Mission, Samus Returns, and then a third game, and you make it like a trilogy, like a 2D trilogy? That would be awesome.
A remake trilogy.
Because I loved both Zero Mission and Fusion. Those games were excellent. So yeah, but any 2D Metroid, I would be 100% on board with.
People have wanted a remake of Fusion, and at the end of Samus Returns, they did show the X Parasite, which because that takes place into the story of that planet, and they could have easily moved the assets over and remake Fusion. So maybe it is a Fusion.
Zero Mission, Samus Returns, and Fusion all in one package. Oh my gosh, come on! Yes, I will take 3 of those. That'll be fine.
Absolutely.
You thought you wanted the Prime trilogy, but no, you're getting the Metroid trilogy.
And Nintendo would do something like that.
Yeah,
they absolutely would do that.
And now I also agree. I think Metroid Prime 4 is at the earliest a 2021 game, and so you don't put out the trilogy this year. I think that you save that for E3 next year. You put that out in 2020, so that in 2021, you're getting 4. So I don't think
that makes sense to me.
Thank you, Jacob, for not including Super Metroid in there. I'm not quite ready for them to touch that game yet.
Oh. Well, what do you think about that Metroid prediction, Ryan? You think it's feasible? You think it could happen? You think it's too early?
I think it's feasible. I really do. I love it. Absolutely love it. And
me too.
that's music to my ears.
Yes.
It's exciting. I would love to see an HD crisp 2D Metroid game. We've never had an HD Metroid game, believe it or not. We've never had an HD Metroid game. The closest we have is what she looks like in Smash Bros. So
Yeah.
besides that, we've never had an HD game, and I think it would look just beautiful.
See this now. I will say this before we go to the next one. This is why I don't like doing these shows, because that's not going to happen. It's just going to make me so mad. I'm going to be watching the whole time and be like, "Where's Metroid? Where's that? Dadgummit!" And then it doesn't matter. They could announce that they're going to send me a check for $5 million, and I'd be like, "But there was no Metroid. Come on,
take my money back and invest in a Metroid game. Let's go."
Doug Bowser comes on. Chris White. We're sending you a check for $5 million. Yeah, but where's Metroid?
You're so right. We're getting ourselves hyped, and none of this will happen. We'll be so mad and sad. All right, well, let's start the other way around. Ryan, why don't we go? We'll start off with you. And what's your second prediction that you're bringing to the table tonight?
So I think Diablo did really well on the Switch, and so I could see them trying to get Overwatch.
Man, slap your grandma.
Going.
I hope that happens. I'm wearing my Soldier 76 hat. Everybody, for if you're watching,
I think even if Overwatch in some form comes to it, maybe it's self-contained. It's not like crossplay. It's its own thing. Maybe it's exploring more into the story, maybe like a spinoff or something like that. But something from the Overwatch world, I would love to see on Switch. And if they don't do that, and they just bring over the classic Overwatch, cool. I'll be good with that if the Switch can handle it. I don't know. I'm assuming it can, but.
Yeah, why not? Just downres that texture. Let's do this crap. Dude, I'm on board. I love Overwatch.
Yeah.
So I would play the crap out of it on the Switch, especially if they give me a Switch that I want to play. But yeah, no, I think it's great. I really don't think that there's my only concern with that is the limitation with playing it. And like you said, like Diablo works, and they've got Fortnite to work. So obviously the latency issues aren't near as much of a problem. Of course, if you play Fortnite on Xbox and you're playing against Switch people, you just know when you are it's just so much better. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think they could get it running. I think the online infrastructure and making sure that the matchmaking works, I think that is the trick. And if they can solve that problem, I don't think it's impossible. And I would, like I said, I would buy that day one. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, we know I remember hearing back from Blizzard a while back saying that the attendance of Overwatch has dropped, and so they could potentially need a new audience to reach to and to bring in the mix. And they have explored, I believe they've even said that they've had it up running on a Switch, but they've never actually done it. So I think if there's a time to do it, this would be now. So I could see Overwatch. Heck, that could be their leading trailer. You come out and Overwatch.
Now this won't be the first time the Overwatch was on Switch, because you can get Mercy's Wings in Diablo 3.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There's a little something for you there. Yeah, no, but this would definitely reinvigorate the audience. I think it's if they could get it working, I think it would be a huge win. And yeah, I mean, Diablo sold, from what I heard, it sold really well, ran really, as well as it can on a Switch. I mean, it ran well. So yeah, man, I think it's great. It's a great prediction.
Good job, man. Good job. Chris, what's your second prediction?
So we heard in January that Metroid Prime 4 was a total trash can on fire. Yeah. And so they said, "Oh, hey, you remember Retro? We're going to let them actually make it," which we should have done from the beginning. So Retro is now working on Metroid, but we do know that they were working on something for a long time. Prior to that, we got a lot of rumors last year that it was going to be shown, and it wasn't. I think that we absolutely get to see Retro's game, and I do believe it's an early 2019. 2020 game at this point. But I do think that the rumors were true. I think that it is a racing hybrid, starring Star Fox in the vein of a Diddy Kong Racing. And I think it's going to be a bit of a surprise when everybody sees it. I think it's going to be a really cool art style. And I think it's going to be great. I'm super look, Retro has proven themselves over and over again on Nintendo platforms. The Country series is great. Of course, Metroid Prime 4 is just phenomenal. So, Star Fox is next. And so I think this is really cool. I'm very excited, and I think that we see it, and it drops, I would say, Q1 2020.
Wow, I love it. I mean, I would absolutely sign me up day. I will pre-order the dang thing like that. That's fantastic. Because I wanted it to be so real last year when the rumors were coming out, you know. So hopefully they're right, man. That would be fantastic. I would love that. But I'm down for that. Ryan, you think that's going to happen? You think this is what Retro's been working on? You think they've been working on something else? Do you think it got canned? What do you think?
I don't personally think that Retro is working on anything, but there's a gap in time where they could have been. So
yeah, that's.
I would have liked to seen that they had been doing something during that time. I really don't think they're just sitting there eating steaks the whole time like their Twitter suggested. I just think that we're going to be seeing something from them before Metroid Prime 4. But I don't know if it's going to come out as, hey, this is what we were working on, but we sidelined it, or if it's going to be, hey, we have this to show off now. And if another team has come in to take over that project when they had to jump over to Prime 4, maybe. But we might see the remnants of that project and picked up by another team and shown. But I don't know if it's this year. It might be. I like the idea of going to play a story-based racer like Diddy Kong Racing. I'm a little hesitant on the Star Fox side of things just because I'm not a big fan of space flight, or at least all range mode. But if it's on rails like that, or it's on a track or something, I think I could do it. I think I'd enjoy it a lot. You know, Landmaster tank. You know, you've got the R-wing and everything. So
Tricky the dinosaur who's in Diddy Kong Racing.
yes.
We could ride him. And Diddy Kong makes an appearance as the cameo because they've been working on Donkey Kong games.
What was the last country game? It was 2014, right?
Yes.
I tried to look that up. I was assuming it was 2014.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 5 years.
Yeah.
That team could not have they could not have been funded for 5 years without building something.
Correct.
And they just got taken off not even taken off. They were just given the assignment in January to do Metroid. So you almost got to think that they probably haven't even started on Metroid yet at this point. They're probably like, let's finish what we have, get it out the door so that we can go full force on Metroid. And so my guess is that in January they had a meeting. They were like, holy crap, we got to finish the game so we can start working on Metroid. So I do think that we get it. I don't think they want to leave it. I don't think they want to put it on hold because now they've sunk that much. Look, I mean, at this point, you've just got to recoup costs. 5 years of production costs, you've got to recoup that. So you've got to put it out and see what you can do. So, I mean, that's my guess.
They would have been put under if they were just sitting there for 5 years doing nothing. There's no way that they would just sit around. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even if they had a failed IP, like I don't think Nintendo would have allowed that. So, but okay, well, Chris.
No, that was mine.
Oh yeah, that was yours. Okay. My second is I think we will see another Nintendo sports game. And this actually goes along with Tom. He couldn't be here today. But he did say he said first off, he says he really does not know what to think about this. He said this is like the first E3 he's had where he's just completely baffled at what it could be because of what we know is coming and things like that. But he did say he hoped for a new Mario Golf game. And I could see a Mario Golf game coming. I was playing Toadstool Tour about a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And, I'm like, I wouldn't mind a new Mario Golf game. And it's been quite a while. And Camelot made Mario Tennis and then still getting regular updates on DLC. But it's not very hard to make a golf game. I don't think it would be. So I could see a Mario Golf game, and that is my second prediction. I think we will see Mario Golf get announced for the Nintendo Switch coming out.
Of all the games, that's the one. I love Mario Golf.
There you go.
Oh man! So
It's a fun game.
if you're keeping tabs at home, if we were in charge of Nintendo so far this year, you would be getting Overwatch, 2D Metroid, Mario Golf, and Retro's new game, which is a spiritual successor to Diddy Kong's Racing. So you're welcome, by the way, and also you can stop crying because none of this is going to happen. No, but Mario Golf is my favorite. It was Toadstool. Which one was it, the 3DS one? Oh, it wasn't Toadstool. That was
it Grand Tour or no?
I think it was like, yeah, it was something. But yeah, I played a ton of that game. I loved it on 3DS. It was so good.
In the pipes, or do you? I know you want Strikers. I know that, and I want Strikers too. I think that'd be cool to get another sequel. But you think it's too soon for Mario Golf?
I think we're in that season. Like third, fourth year is when we usually typically see sports games come out. I was really surprised to see tennis that as early as we did.
Early, yeah.
I'll be surprised if we don't see more sports games. And we have the Mario and Sonic Olympics. Showing off. So that falls right in line with the seasons of the sports Mario titles. So will they jump out and do a new sport? Who knows? But yeah, I could see golf being one of the contenders.
Yeah. What if they went back to basketball? Remember that 3DS game?
Yeah, the 3v3. Didn't they have like square characters in it or something?
I think it was actually DS, wasn't it? I think it was the original DS. Yeah.
Square worked with them for sure.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah.
What if we got Mario Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and like it's Mario on a skateboard with Tony Hawk?
Dude, I'd play the crap out of that.
Hey, DDR happened, so I'm sure that could happen.
That's so true. DDR did happen.
That's true.
That would be funny.
A new DDR
I would love to see Mario or Yoshi trying to like do some like a 1080 trick spin on their skateboard and totally wipe out to some punk rock song.
Oh man, I love it. I want to see Mario disc golf. That's what I want to see. Let's have that happen. Let's just make that a mode. We'll just make the new Mario Golf also have a disc golf course. That's all.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, so Mario Golf. I think Mario Golf gets announced. And not a solid release date, but I think it just gets shown off a little trailer of it and said, hey, it's coming. Probably come out in the spring of next year. Okay, so third round. And on the third round, it's still just something that we actually legit could see happening. But Chris, let's swing back your way, man. What do you think? What is your third prediction?
So Nintendo, the last few years has really spent a lot of time focused on the immediate future because they have gotten to this cadence of releasing directs real close to release and even announcing big games during like directs throughout the year. They don't really have to announce their whole year's worth of content whenever you come to E3. However, they have the last few years, if you've watched, they have hinted at the early part of the year, some first party stuff. For instance, we got Mario a couple years ago. Got kind of a hint to Mario Tennis. We got a hint to Fire Emblem coming last year. Just different things like that. So in lieu of that, I think that Pikmin 4 is real. We already know that it's in production, the next Pikmin game. I think it's going to be Pikmin 4. I think it's going to be shown, and I think it's going to get a spring 2020 release date. That's as far out as they're going to go. Ooh. And that's going to be kind of their big surprise IP of the conference. So Pikmin 4 is real. It's coming next year.
Ryan, what do you think about that?
I think it's definitely a possibility. If not, like a collection of the first three, definitely like a new entry in the series. I don't want to go back and revisit those. I want to play a new one, honestly. So I'm right with you there.
Yep. I mean, I love those three, but yeah, I'm with you. I would love to I want a fourth one. I really do. I want a new one, a new adventure. And again, in our minds, that would be perfect. A Pikmin game for the springtime of next year. And that would definitely fill one of those. I always feel like the first half of the year is kind of like that unknown territory. It's like, what are we going to get? Because in the past, that's been the area where it's like, it's a dead zone. There's nothing happens here,
Yeah, but they've done really good, like the last few years, giving us good first party games, not great first party games, what I would call
Right.
B tier, right? So we got things like well, of course at launch, we got things like ARMS, but then like I said, we got Mario Tennis, we got Kirby in the first part of the year, we got Mario, we got something else. Anyway, they started releasing some of their Yoshi, right? Yoshi just came out, I think in March, right? So they're starting to release some of that. Pikmin to me is a fantastic series. I think Pikmin 4 will be amazing, but it's not an A tier game. So that's not going to be their fall release next year. Real quick side tangent. What do you guys think the fall release for next year is?
Next year?
Guesses? Yeah, because Metroid Prime 4 is not going to be next year.
No, it's not next year.
Any thoughts on what that's going to be? Maybe you don't. It's fine. I just was asking.
I have not a clue.
So anyway, I think the Pikmin is a great game, but I do not think it's a November game. That is definitely an early year game. So
I agree with that. Well, the last one came out, I think, in March, something like that. So
yeah,
Pikmin 3. So okay, Ryan, what do you think, man? What's your next one? Your third prediction?
Actually, Chris's prediction kind of feeds into mine. It's not necessarily a game prediction per se. I mean, it is, but I think we're going to see Miyamoto. I think we're going to see him show up. He's going to show off something, whether it's Pikmin 4 or something he's been working on. And I think we're going to see him. It's going to be kind of his swan song at the end of his hey guys, this is me retiring or what have you.
What?
But I think we're going to
So
see.
you're predicting he's retiring at E3?
I'm saying that this project that he's working on is probably going to be one of his last major ones.
So, yeah, I agree with that. And it's that. I mean, if Miyamoto shows up, it's definitely going to be Pikmin. I mean, this has been his baby from day one. In the last 2 or 3 years, every time people get a one-on-one with him, that's the question that comes up, and he always says, "We are working on it. It's definitely on the list." I could see, but I agree. I think Miyamoto needs to be. I freaking love Miyamoto. He's great. Anytime he's on, he's just electric. I can't understand a word he's saying, and it doesn't matter. He's great.
Well, I mean, I think he's more of like Koji Kondo does not really write any music anymore, but he oversees everything and kind of gives his stamp of approval. And I think Miyamoto's already kind of in that role for the most part. Yeah. So maybe he's not retiring per se, but
his last lead game, maybe. Yeah.
Dang, time rolls on.
I like it. I do like Miyamoto. Just hopefully real Miyamoto, not puppet Miyamoto.
A real Miyamoto.
Maybe this year they'll do like hats. Like they'll be just hats that they're decorated like their faces, and they just float around.
And then Mario Odyssey 2 gets announced.
If
that was the case, it'd be Mario Odyssey 2.
That's true.
Okay, is that it, Ryan? Anything else you want to add, Chris, to that at all?
No. But I think it's great. I hope Miyamoto does show up.
Yeah, I would love to see Miyamoto, especially if he's gonna. I don't want him to silently just go away. I would love for him to have some sort of swan song, if it is that. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully he's still around a little bit longer. I don't want him to go away, but when he
Battle Royale Pikmin.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be a battle royale of all of Miyamoto's franchises that he ever made. And everyone goes at it. Right. So, okay. So my third prediction, and I kind of struggled. Should this be a pie in the sky prediction, or this should really be a legit contender? And I kept it as a legit contender. I really think I agree with Chris. This goes back to Chris's first prediction. Yeah, I think there's going to be I think this is what's going to fill out a big portion of Nintendo's Direct. I think we will finally see the two companies publicly talking, Microsoft and Nintendo, and sharing the stage. And I even would go as far as to say I think Phil Spencer will make an appearance in the Nintendo Direct.
I hope that's real, man. That'd be so cool.
I think I could see him and Doug Bowser chit-chatting, and all of a sudden like it's already a pre-recorded scene, and it's them just talking, and they're both playing Switches together or something, and they're playing Xbox games on their Switches, so and I don't think it's just going to be Ori. I don't think it's going to be one game. I'm not going as far. I think Xbox Live coming to Switch will happen one day. I don't think it's quite there yet, but I do think that we will get I think we're going to get a handful of Nintendo type games that people say this is a Nintendo game come to Switch. And I highlighted Ori. And Blind Forest, that's a done over, and it's been rumored since long as Cuphead has been. Lucky Tales that came out last year. There was a while back, like almost a year ago, not a year, about a half a year ago, where that it was slated that somehow a Game Explain covered it, that Lucky Tales was in development for the Nintendo Switch as well. So I think we'll see that. And then the new Battletoads, I did have that down too. I think we will see Battletoads at the Nintendo Direct coming over to the Switch. And then I think we get Rare Replay on the Switch as well too.
That'd be a great win for Switch, man. Rare Replay is excellent.
It would be, and because 90% of that library is Nintendo games origin, and I think it makes most sense. If Microsoft and Nintendo are going to be buddies, say, hey, can my old friends come back to play? That would be my top priority as Nintendo, as a fan of Nintendo. And I think that's, I know people view it as a business, but I feel like, that's one thing that people love about Phil Spencer is that he's not just a businessman. He is a gamer. He is somebody who grew up and he loves, he's invested in the franchise. He doesn't just, I'm not going to do my franchises that I really love, even though because they're not the top sellers. He wants to still get those games made and out because he knows it's more than just making money. It's about creating memories and adventures with these franchises that are legendary and they have a history, So I really think we're going to get a big handful of those games coming to Switch.
Yeah. Man, that would be awesome. I think to have like an Xbox segment and have them, just like you said, just have Phil come on and just have a conversation. We sit in our bubbles and we look at the industry as as mortal enemies, and
right.
Like if Phil Spencer was ever at a restaurant that Miyamoto walked in, he would push his drink on the floor and storm out. Like that's not the reality of the world. Right? I mean, obviously they have bottom lines and they have shareholders they have to go after, and so it is a business. But at the end of the day, these guys they're into business because they like games, and to see them share the screen, I think would be phenomenal. I think it'd be awesome.
Sony's not there, and this is their two. They're the two who have been working together, and this is their opportunity to shine, Yep. And what makes things a little muddy for me on how things will be rolled out, Chris, is because Microsoft goes first and they have their own press conference. Will they announce anything that is of Nintendo relation on their stage? I don't think so. I think Microsoft being on Nintendo benefits Nintendo more from the large perspective of what people will say. Financially, we don't know what the deals are behind the scenes. Obviously, Microsoft will be getting a big cut from that, I would presume. But yeah, that's what makes the timing uncertain on certain things.
I mean, I wouldn't expect anything on Microsoft stage about Nintendo unless Nintendo was going to let one of their IP come over, which they're absolutely not because they're Nintendo. Yeah. But if Microsoft could stand on stage and say something to the effect of, "Hey guys, this year, whatever we've had, Yoshi's Crafty World came out on Nintendo Switch. It was a huge hit. Well, guess what? It's going to be on Xbox Game Pass starting today. Like people would lose their flipping mind, but Nintendo would never do that. So with that being said, I don't think that it benefits Microsoft at all to say anything on their stage. I think that this is all Nintendo's kind of show at this point. And so I do like my prediction. I do think that they'll announce Battletoads because that's a Microsoft game.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they will say on their thing, hey, and not only is this coming to Xbox, but it's going to come to Switch. I think they'll just leave that, and if it is real, then that will be like during what we're talking about now, which may be a segment of the Direct where we're talking about Xbox games. So yeah, Phil Spencer showing up for Nintendo, it makes total sense. But see, I will say this though. I mean, again, I don't think that we're here yet. But if you remember Ubisoft a couple years back when they Mario plus Rabbids, right? They gave the IP over to Ubisoft to do the game. Mm-hmm. They and then Miyamoto showed up on their stage. Again, I don't think that this is going to happen, but if there is any sort of game that Microsoft is working on where they could incorporate Nintendo IP into that game, dude, that would be amazing, you know.
That'd
And
be
then you could
massive.
see like cross. So then you may have Miyamoto on stage, you know, for Xbox, and then Phil Spencer on the direct. Dude, the internet would blow up. Like it would implode if those two things happened. It'd be amazing.
The thing too is that Nintendo, even though they make their own systems, they make software, and I easily could see one day Microsoft and Nintendo collaborating, maybe making their own IP that is strictly for their two systems
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
that they make together. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
heck,
I love it.
if they build the friendship, why wouldn't they? You know,
Yep.
so great. So yeah, that was my third prediction.
So yeah,
now-
Jacob.
Oh yeah,
I
what'd you
think so.
What'd you think?
Oh, right. Sorry, that was my
No,
fault.
it's all good.
I got
It's
really
all good.
excited because I love
I got it.
Phil Spencer. My bad.
So here's how I think it would play out. If we're going to get a Banjo game, you know, or something, I can see how this playing out. If a Banjo game is announced on Xbox's stage, a new Banjo game,
Yeah, which is rumored.
I'm sure that we'll see it on Switch eventually. But
God.
they would get it first and definitely timed exclusive. But I think
Sure.
that they would release Rare Replay as a sort of Trojan horse to get people
Yeah.
over to play Banjo early on their
Yeah.
Xbox.
That's good.
So I can see that.
I would
That's
be
good.
so down for that. You know, people say Banjo 3 would be coming, and to be honest, I think Banjo needs to reestablish himself before they make a proper sequel like that. Rebuild who Banjo is, reintroduce him to, you know, the reason people.
So remaster the first and the second.
Yeah, I mean, well, look how good Spyro and Crash sold. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. Like, hey, people like these games, remake them. Give Banjo some 4K freaking looking fur and
Dude, that'd be great.
4K
That would be a great announcement at E3. It's like, hey guys, you've been asking for Banjo 3E for years, and I'm here to tell you we're going to give it to you, just not yet. However, to hold you over, bam. Banjo and Tooie both remastered, both coming to Xbox. But here, so I'll say this, Ryan. I totally get where you're coming from, where you know the lead time is on Xbox, but as a person who is really follows the Xbox ecosystem, I do not think that is Phil's MO, and I do not think that is a mandate. I think that if they were to announce 3E, I think it would come day and date. Just like, you know, my prediction is that Battletoads comes day and date. I don't think that there is any lead time. I don't think Microsoft cares. And here for me is kind of why. I think that really hardcore Microsoft fans own Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you own Game Pass, you are getting first-party games absolutely free as part of your subscription. I'm not gonna pay for Banjo 3 if it comes out anytime because I have Game Pass.
Yeah.
This is going to be on Game Pass, and as long as I own an Xbox, I will have Game Pass. So with that being said, I would absolutely buy it also on my Switch. So like I don't see a reason why you don't do day and date, and I just think I think Phil's whole idea is that games should be able to be played wherever you want to be, and if you want to buy an Xbox console or not does not matter. You're still going to buy our game, and so I actually think we're going to start to see that break down.
I hope you're right. That would be. I'd cry. I would legit I'd fall on the floor on my knees, and I would cry because we're going to live stream it. So I would be crying live on the internet if that would happen.
Oh man, I hope that
Wow.
happens now because I want to see you in the fetal position in the back. Can somebody check on Jacob? Is Jacob okay?
I'm okay.
I love it.
That's fantastic. So, yeah, okay. Well, so that takes us to our next segment, which it's kind of plays into this, but this one is what you would think what we just said was the pie in the sky stuff, or how at least 3 years ago that would have been pie in the sky
I don't know,
stuff.
man. I thought that we grounded it pretty well. I mean, I thought that everyone that
I
we
do too.
shared was at least a solid like. I would not be surprised if anything that we just said, Overwatch, Phil Spencer, if any of that would I wouldn't like. Now, Banjo 3 happened, I would lose my mind. But just him showing up with like Rare Replay, I would not be in total shock.
I'd say all of those is Mario hitting the flagpole. We're about to go over the flagpole.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna jump over. So we
Brace
have-
yourselves, people.
That's right.
We have
That's right.
pie in the sky predictions.
Yes.
So how do we want to do this one? You want me to start it off? Do you want one of you gentlemen want to start this one off?
Whatever, man.
Okay, I'll kick it off. Why not?
Kick it off, Ryan.
All right,
Give us
here
the
we go,
kickoff here, bro.
So, you guys are saying probably no Nindies. There is a particular indie that has grown pretty big. It's gotten some, potential Game of the Year awards up for it. So, I think we're going to see a Nintendo cross Celeste. In fact, I'm going to think we're going to see Ice Climbers cross Celeste.
Oh my
Whoa.
Or
god.
Madeline and Battleland working together. You've got Nana and Pogo
Hey.
working together, climbing the mountain.
Oh man.
DLC stuff they're going to announce, or maybe
That's
just
a great
a game
idea.
crossover.
That is
Since
We'll call that
Cadence of
climbing a
Hyrule,
mountain.
I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility, but I think that that's something that's going to happen. They're going to bring Ice Climbers back by
Ryan,
introducing them into that.
this
that-
is
Yeah.
genius.
But see, I mean, now, okay. Now, hang on. I don't want to. I think it's a great prediction, but I would almost go as far as to say they may just do what they did with Cadence of Hyrule, right? Which is
Yep.
where they took Necrodancer. They were like, everything that you did is great, except for now, just make it Nintendo. Like I could actually see them make a new Ice Climber game. Not necessarily connected to Celeste, but just you go to those guys. Hey, you guys know that game you made Celeste? We'll just make the same thing, but just make it all Ice Climbers, and we actually get a brand new Ice Climbers game, dude. Either way, if the Celeste team is making Ice Climbers, sign me up immediately. Yeah, absolutely.
Ice
my
Climbers has been a franchise that ever since they came back in the GameCube, it reminded me of like, dude, I had that game on my NES.
Yeah,
I've always believed that they could do more with Ice Climbers and add to it if they wanted to. And I would be stoked for this, Ryan. If that really happens, I would be very happy. Wow,
dude, Celeste is so good.
it is a great game, and I beat
one
it.
of one of the best 2D
It's a
platformers.
stupid hard game.
So good.
It's one of those games I'm not coming back to for another 5 years.
Oh man, I
because
beat it, and I don't normally beat
ridiculously
those
hard.
games because they normally get really hard. But I just couldn't stop playing. It's so good.
The game is really fun, and it's got a great story and good music. So yeah, please let's make this Ice Climber Celeste. That would be
Oh my gosh.
fantastic.
Now that's all I want. Gosh, dog. I'm not even watching E3 next week. You guys can just tell me how wrong we were. All right, dadgummit.
Yes, you can. We'll break the news to you. All right, Chris, how about you, man? What is your
Okay.
pie in the sky prediction?
I think that the Switch Mini is real, and I think that we get a reveal of the Switch Mini at E3. I think that
Really?
it is Joy-Conless. I think it has a proper D-pad. I think it does not ship with the dock. I think it retails for $199.99, and I think it ships on June 28th alongside Mario Maker 2.
Wow.
That's it.
Even though they said they're not going to talk about hardware.
So if you look at that, there's a couple things. There's a couple of little nuances in the way that it was phrased, and also it was translated. So we don't know exactly the way that it was translated. But one thing they said is that we're always working on new hardware, and that is typically a term that they use or a phrase that they use when they're talking about next gen. So kind of coming back to it, I feel like the question was almost, are you working on the next Switch? To which they said, we're always working on new hardware, but we have nothing to announce right now as far as like Switch 2 or whatever that's going to be. Now, they did say that we're not going to announce hardware at E3, but he did also add a tag. We're not planning to announce hardware at E3 because they don't want to announce it, and I don't have it right in front of me. But basically, he said that we don't want to announce it until it's ready to be released. Well, I mean,
Okay.
maybe they just weren't sure it was going to be ready at that point, or maybe they just didn't care and they just were like, we can't tell you yet because we don't want you to know this. But I think this is real. I think it's coming in June. And just to go a little further, if you want me to, I think that we also get a special edition Switch Mini for Sword and Shield in November. But
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that these hardware iterations are definitely on the way, and I definitely can see special editions like them coming. I don't know if it'll be at E3, but if it happens, man, props to you for guessing that.
Again, this is pie in the sky, right? I think that the Pro is coming
Sure.
next year. I think that absolutely we know that PS4 and Xbox whatever are launching next year. Nintendo has to have a new piece of hardware on the shelf next year in order just to be part of the conversation. Even if it's just an up-res version, a Switch Pro, just, maybe a less of a bezel and maybe a 1080 undocked, whatever that is, they have to have that on shelf next year. But I think the Mini is a different thing. And I just think that, especially with a proper Pokemon game coming out, if you look back at Let's Go, like they really drove the idea of Let's Go. We're going to let you play with one Joy-Con. Your kid can join, in 2-player, and it's a casual experience. This is hardcore Pokemon. And we have never had a Pokemon game that wasn't considered a portable game. And I just think that before Pokemon comes out, we are going to get a Switch Mini. And I think they do. I think they pull the trigger. I think they show it and they announce it. I think it comes out with Mario Maker.
Okay.
The end.
The end. Wow. Okay. Hey, it could happen. It could happen.
Also,
and it makes sense.
I want it so bad, by the way.
It makes sense. Mario Maker seems more of it would be better as a portable game. And if they, you know what I mean? So it does make sense. I don't disagree with that. So it could happen. My pie in the sky is it's going back to one of what Chris was saying. So yeah, Retro Studios was silent for 5 years. Retro Studios, I would love it if Chris's prediction is correct. I would not be unhappy about that. The truth is, I don't know what Retro is working on. I do know that people have said that they've been a mess and that they were put on hold for years. I do know that people said their IP got canned, that they've just had a lot of dumpster fires going through there. Some people still believe that they have really been hard at work on stuff, and now that they are moving on to Prime, because they pitched, I do know that Metroid said that they pitched their idea to Nintendo for Metroid, and Nintendo liked it, so they gave it to them for Metroid Prime. It's not like Nintendo plucked it away from whoever had it and said, here you go, Retro. It wasn't that way. They said Retro pitched the idea, and they're like, we like this better, so let's give it back to Retro. So then it's Retro had to convince Nintendo to give them Metroid Prime. So, but before that, I think we really had something they were working on, and I think with them spending so much time in the Donkey Kong world, I think we will get a 3D platforming sequel to Donkey Kong 64, and I think it is a big sandbox world, a lot like just a lot of openness, and I think it's going to be very. I don't want to say realistic, but I want it's going to give off that feeling that when Donkey Kong Country originally came out, people talked about how real the graphics looked as opposed to what Mario was, and Donkey Kong's been a little bit more cartoonified over the years, and I think that we get more of a realistic approach of a 3D platformer with the Kongs and with King K. Rool now that he is back in business. I think we're going to get a big 3D Donkey Kong platformer, and I think it's going to be freaking awesome, and that's why it took so long to make, because they've been in Kong world all this time. Heck, they even made Funky Kong for Tropical Freeze for the Switch port, so they've still been dabbling in the Kong's world. So yeah, that's my pie in the sky prediction. I think we will get a new Donkey Kong 3D platformer. Am I crazy, or will this happen?
I mean, I love the idea. Absolutely. I mean, I'd play the crap out of it. But this would have to be like next year's fall game, right? I mean, this would have to be.
Could be.
If we're talking about a giant 3D platforming game, like we're talking about, this is a big release, dude. I don't think I love Donkey Kong. The Donkey Kong DLC for Mario plus Rabbids was fantastic.
Amazing.
And so I don't think we see enough Donkey Kong. So yeah, like it's the same thing with Metroid. It's so weird because we see a lot of Zelda, we see a lot of Mario.
Yeah.
But then like these other great IPs, we just don't see near as much of. And dude, I would play a freaking Donkey Kong game every year, man.
Absolutely. And it is weird too, because I feel like in Nintendo's history, at one point, those games were considered the AAA game, the pillar game. In the Super Nintendo days, Donkey Kong Country was like, it was up there with Zelda, like you got Mario, you got Zelda, you here's Donkey Kong. It was considered that. And as time goes on, things change a little bit. Zelda's just always stayed with the mix. I don't know why Zelda's always been up there right along with Mario, but
Because it's amazing.
I mean, it is amazing, but I just don't know why, like, that's the one Nintendo loves to. We seem to get a freaking Zelda game of some sort every single year, like you said.
Yeah.
It's a different style, 2D. I don't know, Link's crossbow training. It's something of Zelda, a remake, or a brand new AAA 3D game. There's always something with it, and I wish we could get more Metroid and Donkey Kong like that. So
Yeah.
I think it's time. Yeah, we got Donkey Kong Country re-released last year, but it was a re-release. It wasn't a new game. It's technically been 5 years since we had a new Donkey Kong game of any sort. So, yep, that's
Ryan,
my
Ryan, are you a big DK fan?
I should be. As much as I've played it and as much as I've enjoyed it, but at the point in my life right now, I'm just like, meh. Honestly.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh.
I really enjoyed Tropical Freeze. I'm glad Jacob made me play it for his pick. It was last year.
Yes.
I enjoyed it a lot. But I don't know. Like, for some reason, I jumped on Donkey Kong Country Returns, and I just kind of, and then I heard they were working on Tropical Freeze and just porting everything over, and I kind of gave it the same treatment as Mario Galaxy, and then they announced Mario Galaxy 2 with the unused stuff, and I was like, oh well, it's kind of leftovers. But and I can see how wrong I was with Tropical Freeze, so I think I'd like to see them do something more with it.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? We'll see. I do think. I don't know. I would like to think that Retro didn't get canned. Whatever their IP got canned. So let's hope we get to hear something of Retro. Something. Whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be gold. So. Great. Well, this is the segment now where we did our Pie Sky, we did our predictions, but I want to just clear the waters. You hear a lot of people talking about what they thought would happen at E3, and some of it just drives me nuts, makes me want to pull my hair out. And I just want to say what I firmly will say. I want to say on the show today, it's not going to happen. Okay.
Okay.
I'll start, I guess. I haven't started any of the rounds, so I'll start this one.
Okay.
The first thing that I firmly think will not happen is we will not get Mario Kart DLC. I know people love that game. I know people want more of it. I know it's a massive seller, but I think it is too far gone in time that I think Nintendo has already started work on a new one that will surpass Mario Kart 8. I do not believe we are getting any DLC for Mario Kart 8 ever again. I don't think there's anything in the works for it.
Even VR support?
Besides any Labo stuff, I'm saying, like, I don't think they're going to add characters and create new courses and music tracks for the game. Okay. VR support, Labo stuff, yeah, they fiddle around with that to make us revisit those old games, but I do not believe we will get DLC. People think that we need to have it all the time, and I'm like, no, I'm over that game. I'm over that game. So I would much rather dive into a new Mario Kart down the road.
Or Diddy Kong Racing.
Preferably, of course. Yes. Especially Mario Kart State's trash too. It doesn't have Diddy Kong. So
whatever.
But my other one is there will be no time spent on Mario Maker, Pokemon, or Fire Emblem in the Direct.
Wow.
I do not think there will be. I think Nintendo's. I think Pokemon with the Direct happening tomorrow after this episode. I think they're already showing it off. I think I think that stuff will be played at Treehouse. I don't think it's not going to not be at E3. I just don't think it's going to have spotlight time on the Direct. I think that'll be shown off by the Treehouse a little bit more of those games. But I think that's why we got the Mario Maker Direct. I think they wanted to get this out of the way before we got to E3 so they could focus on other stuff. And Fire Emblem got its own Direct. I really don't see them spending a lot of time on these games. And that's not wishful thinking here. That's because I do want Mario Maker 2 and Pokemon, Fire Emblem definitely don't want. Unfortunately, they will spend time on Animal Crossing. Yeah, I just don't think these.
Those are the three games that I'm looking forward to most of the year.
I know. I just don't think they will make an appearance in the Direct. They will not spend time on those. That's what I'm saying will happen. And then the last one I wanted to say is I do not think we will get Super Nintendo games announced for your eShop. People keep saying, "Oh, this needs to come." Nintendo doesn't spend they've never done that. They've never spent E3 on a mobile game. I've heard people talk about mobile games.
Yeah.
They're not talking about mobile games.
So you don't think World Tour is going to show up at all?
No, I don't
Or
think.
the Mario Kart? Is it a World
No.
Tour? Or no, just saying Mario Kart. I think it's World Tour.
Yeah, whatever the Mario Kart games. I do not believe we'll see any mobile app games at E3 from Nintendo. They're not going to talk about them, and I do not believe. I don't think they're going to spend time on talking to us about. Here's how we're going to update our online Nintendo stuff. They save that stuff for separate directs. I think E3 is too big of a focus from a world perspective to spend time on that. So I mean, again, maybe they would. I would disagree with it, but I just don't think they will. They haven't in the past. I don't think they will. So, and plus, honestly, I don't want to see your Super Nintendo games being sent to your eShop. You know, like, great, I've already played all these games a bajillion times. Tell me some new stuff, you know? Like, tell me that, drop that as an announcement later on in the treehouse.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's today, you know, here's this stuff. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see any of that stuff. Those are my will not happen predictions.
Man, my concern is if the 45-minute runtime is accurate, they're going to have to fill that with something. Like, I think I tend to agree with you that they don't normally include this stuff. But man, 45 minutes is a long dang time for Nintendo.
Because they got to set up that Phil Spencer conversation.
All right, fair enough.
What do you guys have anything that you don't think will happen that a lot of people are kind of leaning towards would happen?
I mean, I can jump in. I've actually kind of touched on most of mine. So I'll start with Metroid. I don't think that we get Metroid Prime 4 in any capacity at all. And I also don't think the Metroid Prime trilogy is hinted or touched at all. I actually think, even though now all I want is 2D Metroid games, I actually don't think Metroid gets touched at all. I don't think Metroid or Samus is mentioned in the entire direct.
Okay.
I just don't. I feel like that they just don't want to remind people that, hey, we just started development on this in January.
Right.
You're not going to see this game until at least 2021, possibly even 2022. And so let's not talk about it right now. That's kind of that's kind of my take. So a lot of people are. I mean, I've heard people go as far as to be like, we're going to see a trailer, like a teaser trailer for Metroid Prime 4. You're out of your dang mind. I mean, like, no, it's just not going to happen. So no Metroid whatsoever. I kind of mentioned the Switch Pro. Again, they've already kind of said there's no hardware, but I still hear people, even like some idiots like myself, thinking that they may still announce hardware. But whatever they announce, I do not think the Switch Pro, even with the rumors that came out from Wall Street Journal, I do not think the Switch Pro is this year. I think that they save that for next year with the launch of the other big consoles, to have something on the shelves that says, hey, this is new and this is faster, this is prettier, you buy this one. And so I just don't think that in any capacity is mentioned at all. Switch Pro, and then I think that I've been hearing a lot of stuff, kind of what you said about Mario Kart. I've been hearing a lot of things about possibly revisiting Mario Odyssey or DLC for Mario Odyssey, or even Mario Odyssey 2 or something new for Breath of the Wild. I think those games are done. Just like you said with Mario Kart, I do not think we get a mention of either one of those games. DLC, new content, even sequels. I don't think I just don't think Breath of the Wild or Odyssey 2 Odyssey are mentioned in any way. So that's my
Ryan.
I think no, a lot of people are saying it's dead. They're not doing anything with it. Gloom and Doom, Mario Maker 2 isn't going to have support for them. I think we are going to see Amiibo, and not just like Smash DLC Amiibo. We're going to see Amiibo show up. I've heard people say Amiibo's dead. They're not going to do it anymore. Like Gloom and Doom.
No way. It's not.
This is going to be Amiibo.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I don't get a Link's Awakening amiibo, I'm gonna drive through downtown and just punching hobos. Like I need to have a Link's Awakening.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that, Ryan. I do think we will have amiibos, and I think
I'm just gonna put that people naysayers to rest. Like, we're getting that. So I mean, it's kind of an anti prediction to other people, but
Sure.
it's something I definitely want. It's kind of a prediction of mine, but still, like,
Well, every year
Yeah.
people say like Amiibo's dead and so on, and then Nintendo drops like 10 more each year, and I'm like, I don't understand why people think this. I
Yeah.
think they've changed their concept. I don't think they drop 32 of them in a year anymore. I think that they spend more quality time and they put more focus on individual ones. But yeah, I definitely don't. I agree with you, Ryan. I think we will see Amiibo probably for a game that we don't even know is coming that gets announced.
Yeah.
Anything else that you think won't happen? We're not getting a Pikmin trilogy. I'll say that. I've heard that.
right. I don't know.
I would still play that crap out of that.
I would too, but people are like somehow saying we're getting an HD trilogy. And like, where did you get that? So
Man, I don't know. Like, there's so many things I'd want to say. Like, no, that's not happening. No, that's not happening.
sure.
I feel like it's too easy.
Sure.
Like, so I don't really have anything to offer there, honestly.
Which, to be fair, just like ours, it's everyone's predictions. Everyone has their own predictions.
Oh, sure.
So, and there's just some of them I get tired of hearing repetitively, like Mario Kart 8 DLC has to happen.
Yeah. I mean, let's be clear. I would absolutely buy it.
Oh yeah. Well,
but
I mean, as a matter of fact, when I was 2 years ago, E3 2017, I was on Life of Gaming with you guys, and you said Mario Kart DLC. I said it wasn't going to happen.
That's right.
I remember that. Oh, I missed that show. Bring it back, Chris.
Oh, I've got a big one. Yeah, we are not getting Splatoon 3 announced.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
there you go.
I am
That's a
sorry.
good one.
We're not.
Yeah.
I agree with you. People keep saying we're getting Splatoon 3. No, we're not.
No.
Do you think we ever live in a world where we get a Splatoon battle royale?
Yeah, potentially. I think Splatoon's a great franchise right now. Is hot and bopping. It would be a great franchise to do spin-off games with and see how they sell.
I would totally be for that. But then I think of Nintendo Online and I shoot that down instantly.
Oh,
That's right. I forget because I play Xbox. That's right.
I'm keeping you centered here.
I know what an online infrastructure is supposed to look like.
You do. Unfortunately, you do. I'll give you that. Nintendo still can't get their. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that when I'm playing Smash Brothers with my buddies right next to me, portably on our Switches, and it freaking lags. That's garbage.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Jack.
That's not good. Okay, so then this takes us to our final segment of the episode. Obviously, it's out. It's been a hit. It's a massive game. But Nintendo last year in November, they decided to keep the flame alive and the speculation, which a part of me was like, yay, there's hope. A part of me was like, dang, I really hate this roller coaster. Smash Bros characters.
Yes.
I believe we will get the next character, and I think it's common sense, and it'd be a bad missed opportunity if Nintendo did not announce their next DLC fighter at this event. Some people are saying that we're going to get a shadow drop and then a reveal for the third one. I don't think that's the case. I think I could see them announcing the second DLC fighter and then it's dropped. But I don't think we're going to get two fighters announced. So that's where I want to say, what is our Smash Brothers DLC character review? And what comes, because it comes with a little package of a level and some extra stuff. What do you think is going to be in that package, guys? And when do you think this announcement happens? Ryan, let's start with you.
Okay. I'm of the belief that they're going to show the rest of the DLC fighters.
All of them.
It's going to be like a video, like, you have one fighter show up and then another one shows up behind them, attacks them, and then someone shows up and takes them down after that. I would say like all of them, but at least 3. Leaving one secret maybe out, but yeah, that's what I think.
The last one hidden.
It's heavily dependent on what Microsoft shows and what games they're going to bring to the Switch. I think that there's a dependency there. Where we're going to see some certain Microsoft characters. We're going to see one Microsoft character. That's all. I'll just throw it out there. Now, as far as any other kind of crossovers or anything like that, I don't know. Like, I could give you my, hey, I'd love to see, Neku, Sora, freaking Cloud, or not Cloud, but, wow, Leon, Squall. There we go. That word. I'd love to see those characters, but I really don't think that that there's. I don't put much faith in there being a Square Enix character. I've heard that there's one picked, but I don't think. I just don't see it happening as much as I'd love to. I don't think we're going to see this Square Enix character people said that is confirmed, quote unquote, for as a Smash character. So in its
the
void,
Dragon Quest guy.
yeah, and I could see definitely like a Paper Mario making an appearance.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I think we're going to see. I hesitate to say like another Mario character, unless it is something that's removed from the Super Mario series, which would be Paper Mario. But I think we'll see one Nintendo character that's theirs.
Okay.
And then I'll leave up the third one up to whoever wants to guess that. But yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of crazy. I did not expect you to think that we're going to get 3 characters. I think we're just getting 1, but you got 3. I mean, so did you specifically name anybody, or did you just kind of generalize?
Well, I think I pretty much generalized. Because I don't see if I see a Microsoft character, it's going to be Banjo, Steve. That's all I'd give them.
Halo guy.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be in it. And then if Nintendo, I think it's going to be Paper Mario. And then if it's Square, I give no credit to Dragon Quest character guys. So I'm going to say Sora. From Kingdom Hearts. That's
okay. And this is announced during the Direct?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Chris, what about you? Who we getting? Who's the DLC drop? Are we getting 3 characters like Ryan said, or you got 1? We getting 2? A shadow drop, an announcement?
I mean, I have a list of people that I think are going to come. So overall it's 5 characters, right? And we only got Joker so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first off, I definitely think Banjo is coming, but if I'm a betting man, I think that is probably the last character that you reveal. So I don't think that's the character.
Heart attack, right?
Yeah, I mean, because they're going to make you wait an entire year, and every new character you're going to be like, oh, and then you're going to wait for that very last one, and they're like, oh, Banjo, and then you're going to.
Yeah, I won't even watch it because I'll be like, it's not happening, and then it actually is.
But that being said, I will come back to the fact that you talked about Phil Spencer coming out and being part of the Direct. If that happens, I could actually see them announce Banjo in that moment, because like a couple years ago when this really when it came up, whenever Smash came out on Wii U, and they had that whole thing where you could go in and vote for a character, and somebody actually asked Phil, and Phil basically just said, I would love to see him in there. They could definitely have him, or something to that effect, that he was definitely on board for that happening. So I think Banjo is just a given. I don't think that you finish this roster of the deluxe character collection of characters without having Banjo in it. That being said, I don't think that's who we get. I think that we get Chris Redfield. I think that we get Resident Evil.
I've heard that.
We have we have Mega Man. From Capcom. We have Ryu from Street Fighter, so Capcom game. So what other huge franchise that has meant as much to video games, and we already know that they have a good relationship with Capcom. So I think that we see an additional Capcom character, and the way that I kind of felt whenever they started announcing Smash Brothers is that they're trying to put together basically a Hall of Fame. When they announced that Simon was Belmont was coming, he's that's just them saying, who can we honor? Like if this was a video game Hall of Fame, like what characters do we need to be here? I mean, crap, think about it. You got Cloud, you got Solid Snake, now you have Simon. Like these are icons of video games. So when you think about it like that, I think that these last 5 characters are not going to be Nintendo characters. I think they're all 5 going to be icons of video game history, and I think that they're going to close it out. So I think Chris Redfield is the one that comes just for fun. I think that Ryu. Hayabusa, Ninja Gaiden guy. right?
Yeah.
I think he will be
That'd
in
be
there. I think that we get Crash Bandicoot, and
Oh,
I think that
wow.
we get Banjo Kazooie. So that's just
Yeah.
me. And then I think we do get Steve. I think Steve from Minecraft is a no brainer. I mean, there is not a bigger video game franchise maybe ever than Minecraft.
Okay.
It's a juggernaut. So.
Okay.
As far as what did you ask, like levels and stuff? I don't play a lot of the Resident Evil games because I'm not a big spooky
Oh,
fan.
no, me
But
neither.
Chris was in the first game. The first game was all about a mansion. So some form of a breakaway mansion where you're fighting on like a staircase and maybe it falls to different levels or something to that, or maybe you fight from like room to room could be kind of cool because that was the whole Resident Evil thing, right? You're going from room to room and never knowing what's in the next room. So maybe maybe kind of a multi-room level. Of course, the music and stuff, and then if you want to go as far as I don't think they'll do it, but if you want to have other character swaps, like they had Richter, right? So they had Simon, they had Richter, which is basically just like a skin swap, but he actually is a different character. You could actually see like Leon Kennedy or even Jill Valentine show up as alternate costumes of Chris, which I would be totally on board for. Some people would not like that they're basically just carbon copies, but I would be fine just to have them in the game.
That would be interesting. There's the VR support with Smash Brothers, so if they do introduce stages for these characters, I'm sure they're gonna have that VR support where you can look around and like see what you're seeing. So like it would be really cool to see horror elements in VR, just looking around in a Smash match or something.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of interesting.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah,
that's how they're gonna do the reveal. It's gonna be they're gonna show someone putting on this VR headset. People are like, "What this Labo crap is in here?" And then it's Smash Bros. And looking around, and then it's gonna zoom out, and you're actually the character that they're about to reveal.
Jacob,
that's cool. That's cool. I like it.
You just made me want to watch the E3 presentation in VR now.
Oh no. Well, we have that. You can come to my office while all of us are in the other room, and you can just sit here with your eyes like that. So, it's no brainer. I think that I think it's going to be Banjo-Kazooie, especially after rumors that happened just today. I don't know if you saw that rumor, Chris, at all.
I don't know.
Did you see today's rumor?
No.
A leaker who hasn't. He's got. It's one of those leakers that's been.
I don't know if we should call them leakers.
Whatever he is, he works in the industry, but he's like.
I have a 3-year-old and she's a leaker.
Okay,
so
my daughter leaks at night too. So there was a guy who he just tweeted something or commented on something about Banjo, and this basically he works in the games industry. I can't even think of his name right now, but he's a big deal, and people are actually picking up and freaking out about it because he has been known. He has a list of when he tweets. It comes to life, like it's real. He was the first to talk about Ridley actually being in Smash Ultimate, and then it happens, and that's just one small thing. He has a list of stuff, and actually Game Explain, what gives it more fluidity, I think, in my mind, is that Game Explain then made a video about it, and when Game Explain picks up something of information from somebody, it's got credible source to it. So then the dude basically said Banjo-Kazooie will be announced at Smash for E3. Yeah. So I think what I don't know is I don't know how it will happen. I don't know if it's going to happen in the Nintendo Direct. It opens up, Smash Fighters are like, oh, it's the characters, or if it closes out like that, or it's just in the middle. We don't know. Banjo-Kazooie, I think, will show up, but they're going to have a Smash Bros. Tournament. Could the character be announced?
Especially if it's Banjo. So again, I didn't see the source today. I totally believe that Banjo's coming. I just said that. Like I have no doubt.
Absolutely.
And in E3, I mean, this is the biggest moment for them, regardless of the fact that they do directs all year. Like this is the week where people are really focused. So it would make sense to do it, but you don't do it at a conference. I mean, you don't do it at like a tournament. Like that is a headline announcement. If you are telling Nintendo fans that after decades, you are finally having Banjo-Kazooie back on a Nintendo platform, that's huge. That may actually, if that happens, that may very well be the biggest announcement of the entire week, is the fact that Banjo is coming back to Switch.
Really? You think Banjo's that carries that much weight?
I think so. Okay, so this show is called Nintendo Nostalgia, right?
Yes.
I think that like my kids will not care whatsoever. They're super pumped for Pokemon. They're super pumped for Super Mario Maker 2. But I think that anybody that has any sort of nostalgia for this industry, especially growing up in the '90s, playing playing Nintendo consoles, the 64 is one of my favorite consoles of all time. There was not a lot. There weren't like games that go down in history quite like the handful that you have on the 64. Mario 64, Star Fox 64, but Banjo is one of them. And Banjo, I mean, come on, Banjo is arguably a better game than Mario 64.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, it's a huge IP. So yeah, so maybe it's hyperbole to say that it would be one of the biggest announcements overall, because there will be a large section of people that are that pause Fortnite long enough to watch, and they're going to have no idea what's going on. Right. But I think for anybody that has a history with video games, I think that it is like it's the same type of announcement as when Sony came out on their stage and said, "Hey guys, we're remaking Final Fantasy VII," and everybody lost their freaking mind. Like it's that same kind of a moment.
I absolutely agree. Banjo, he's not just a forgotten character, like he's not Kid Icarus. He Pit from Kid Icarus. He was a staple of 3D platforming when it became huge.
Yeah.
And so I agree with Chris there, and I think it's a massive deal. So now I really think about it and having someone talk sense into me, I think it's more appropriate to be happening at the Direct.
Yeah.
And instead of the tournaments, more eyes would be on the Direct, I would think, because I'm not going to sit back and watch the whole tournament. I'll tell you that. But I think it'll happen, and I think it's a Microsoft package. So
so that's what I was going to ask real quick. Since we're talking about this, I mean, all we know is that they're character packs, and so our assumption is that it's one character, one level, and then the music that goes.
I thought it was said that way.
I mean, I agree. It probably was, but I guess what I'm asking is, do you think is there any possibility that we actually do get exactly what you said, Jake, right? So we get a Microsoft pack. So what if Phil Spencer comes out and says, we love Switch, we love Smash Brothers, and we have a varied history that we share together on our platform. And so we're going to have a Microsoft, and we get Master Chief, we get Steve, we get Cuphead, we get Banjo all together as a Microsoft pack. Like, I think that could be super cool. I just don't know. I don't know if that would fall into, because at that point you're paying the same price, right? Because if you got the character pass, you paid like what, $20 or something,
right?
And you're guaranteed those 5 packs, but now you're technically getting like 3 or 4 characters. Like, I don't know if they would do that.
Well, let me clarify. I think we get a Microsoft package. I think Banjo-Kazooie is the character. They get their level. Their music is from that. I think that's the meat.
Okay.
I think extras, what I mean by a Microsoft package is, I mean, like, okay, everyone wants Steve. Steve's going to be a trophy.
Okay, this is trophy. Yeah, that makes sense. And stickers and
a Battletoad character would be a trophy.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they start sprinkling little Microsoft stuff, and maybe other Microsoft songs can be in there as well. And stickers, obviously, we're going to start seeing you'll see a lot of Microsoft stickers, and you'll see a Microsoft event sticker thing for the thing, so
I like that. Yeah, that's cool.
That's what I think would happen. I think here's your Microsoft rep and package with other IPs sprinkled in there as representation, but not as the main fighter.
Yeah, I
costumes.
Yeah, I could be on board.
Costumes.
Let me.
You want a Master Chief costume? You can do that.
The timing of the DLC drop. Do you think it's going to be right now, or later today, for any of these characters that we've mentioned? You think it's going to be like something
as much as I would love it? I don't think so. I think that would be a massive surprise, but I really don't think so. Nintendo doesn't really do that with Smash. Do they?
I think like we waited. Like the Joker came out March or April? April, I think.
February.
So, I mean, we waited. No, it wasn't that early.
It was late February, I thought. Maybe Piranha Plant came out February, and
I'm pretty sure Joker came out April.
April, you're right.
So we waited like 4 months for the very first character, and then the idea is that we don't even know who the second character is, but they would drop less than 2 months later. Like I think that is a little far fetched. So I would probably go the other way, but at the same time, how long are they going to stretch it out? If they're going to give us all 5 characters, I don't think you can go past the first year. Can
It
you?
ends in February. Is
Oh,
when
it
that,
does.
that
Okay,
yeah,
so
they
we know
said
that.
it was February is when that cuts off. So it has to
Okay.
be those characters have to be released in that window to February.
I mean, there's
Well, I
no
mean,
saying that
that
they've
that
been
could
working on the
work,
next
though.
DLC. You know, for all we know, they're working on all the DLC characters right
Joker
now. You know what
Joker
I
could have
mean?
been a buffer, and they just stagger things out, and they're working on all of them, and then
Yeah,
rolling them out
I mean,
slowly.
it would. I mean, it would kind of fit a timeline if it does. If because we have 4 characters left, and we have what 7 months.
Yeah.
That's roughly 2 months a character, and that would
Yeah.
fall in line with Joker. So yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe crap. You convinced me, Ryan. Let's do it. We're having a stealth drop on the day of the direct. Whatever character's coming is coming on Tuesday. Let's do it.
That'd be cool. So yeah, that's what I think. I think Banjo-Kazooie is coming, and I'll just add that if this happens, it makes perfect sense in my rare fandom brain head to you put Banjo in Smash, a new Banjo game is on the horizon. What better way to publicize him and get him more popular by putting him in Smash? Re-release the old games on Switch, and I think after E3, a week or so, like they've done not last year but the past 2 years, we get the 64 Classic announced. And it's got rare games on there like we've all wanted because they've been working on the deals all this time, but they couldn't get it done till now.
What if that's what's holding it up? What if it's been ready and they were just waiting for the Microsoft deal to work out so they could do it?
I firmly
That's
believe
crazy.
that would be the case because they had the blueprints for all that. Like it got leaked, and like they filed trademarks and everything for the 64, the controllers and the patents and all that stuff, and then nothing ever happened.
I don't have any of the classics. But I will. But if they make an in the 64 Classic, I will buy it day one. No doubt.
Me too. As long I would buy it either way, but it really needs to have those rare games on it. So
sure.
I just want a GameCube Classic.
Yes.
We got to get to the 64 first, and I want a Game Boy Classic too. I'd love a Game Boy Classic. That'd be fun. So, well, guys, that's our E3 predictions episode for 2019. 90% of it's probably wrong, but it was a fun trip. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We will know a week from now how wrong we were, dude. If we're so right, we're gonna have a pizza party. We're gonna have a pizza party, hands down. But we're probably not. So don't get your hopes up. But Chris, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, and Ryan, why don't you do our due diligence here, man?
Sure. So you can follow me on Twitter at NeoLego. Anything of interest that I have to say, I say there. I also host a movies podcast called Real Amigos. We just kicked off our 2nd season. Actually, this week, we talked about Back to the Future. But as much as I love video games, I grew up on movies. I'm a huge movie fan. And so a couple of my friends get together and we talk about movies that we grew up with, movies that we love. Back to the Future is this week. We have a whole year's worth of content from last year. You can catch up if you'd like that kind of stuff. Please check it out. You can follow us on Twitter at Real Amigos or just search your podcast service of choice, and we're out there.
Awesome.
All right, guys. You can find us at the Nintendo Village at thenintendovillage.com/Nintendo Nostalgia. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Google Play. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Nintendo NOS, on our Twitter at Nintendo_NOS. Shoot us an email at nintendonostalgiain@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, and we also have an Instagram at Nintendo NOSIN. Guys, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for your E3 predictions. We hope that you guys enjoy the E3 presentation next week, and we will see you live then.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.